the Hand of the Lord International Church, where we are dedicated to equipping you with sound doctrine, nurturing you as a disciple, and fostering meaningful connections within our community of believers. Stay tuned as we grow together in faith. This is a Sound Doctrine broadcast.
To be along with Tamar says, and we're going to go back to 32, it says, let not my Lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons, for Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom, this had been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. Now therefore let not my Lord the king take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. Verse 34 says, Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lift up his eyes and looked, and behold, there were much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab said unto the king, behold, the king's sons come, as thy servant said, so it is. And it came to pass as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came, lifted up their voice and wept, and the king also, and all his servants wept very sore. Verse 37 is interesting. It says, Absalom fled, and he went to Tamar, who was the king of Geshur. Now I want you to underline that, and also to the point that Tamar he's actually Absalom's granddad. He's the father of Absalom's mother. And you can find that back in chapter 3. So he runs, he plots to kill, he's bothered by the fact that Amnon rapes Tamar. We established the fact that Tamar was Absalom's complete sister in the sense they share the same mom and dad, not with Amnon. And according to the custom, if someone raped the king's daughter, he should automatically be killed. Yet we see that David does not kill Amnon. During the 2 years, something stirred in Absalom's heart to the degree that he felt the need to have Amnon killed. And we talked about a little bit on last week how if we look at Tamar herself, the fact that in your notes, just so you understand the story, 2 years after her incident, her abuser is killed. Okay, so that would put her around 16, 17 years old. Now, the Bible is specific to help us understand that she lives the rest of her life desolate. She doesn't have any kids, even though her name means date the fruit, which means she should have been fruitful. And the thing that I want you to go ahead and write this down. You're going to hear this over and over. Vengeance does not heal bitterness. Vengeance does not heal bitterness. Matter of fact, while we're in that, so we can engage a little bit, and the reason I say this, her rapist is killed 2 years after the incident, yet she lives the rest of her life without ever being fruitful. What's the only thing, now think about this, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer. What's the only thing that heals bitterness? You say forgiveness. Somebody else. The only thing that heals bitterness. Now I'm saying only. So consider what I'm asking. It's only one thing heals bitterness. I understand forgiveness. Somebody else have one? What would you naturally think? Most of the time when somebody has an offense, they want a what? An apology. So do anyone want to say an apology heals bitterness? Yeah, why not? Why you don't want to say it, or you don't think that it does? You don't think it does? Why not? Why not? Why you talking in the mic? Why not? So those of you talking up there, you're not allowed to say nothing because we can't hear you unless you're going to come down here and get on the microphone. All right. So why would you say if you believe that apology doesn't heal bitterness? If so, why not? And then I'll pass it to you. You can get that one. And if you think forgiveness is microphone.
Because that doesn't really have anything to do with you. You need to deal with what's going on inside of you.
You say
And
that, what's that? You
an
said that,
apology, that's an
apology?
external thing.
Apology is external, okay.
You have to make, you can't control whether that happens or not. And you have to be able to release the offense in order to heal from the bitterness.
Okay, so she said it's external. You can't control whether or not it takes place. You got to be able to release the offense. When we look at offense, I've given you this when I talked about offenses and bitterness. Well, I'm going to give you this definition again. When you look at offense, write this down, in Luke 17:1, Jesus tells his disciples, he says, offenses will come. So no matter how much we fast, how much we pray, how much we study the Word of God, you're going to be offended in some form or fashion. Now, offense can be as simple as you not getting your way. Offense can be something as simple as you not getting your way. You predetermine something, or I would like to say it like this: someone not meeting your expectations. Okay, so you have expectations, whether they've been verbalized or not. All of us have them. If somebody does not meet your expectations, boom, offense can come in. That's how easy it can come in. And notice what Jesus said. He didn't say you buying up offenses, you cast them out. He said, guess what's going to happen? They are going to come. He prepped them. So if something's going to come, that means I must prepare myself to learn how to deal with them. If it's going to be a part of my life, one way or another, that means I must find a way to master how do I handle offenses. Now, I'm going to give you this definition. When you look up offenses in the Greek, according to Luke 17:1, it denotes the enticement, watch this, or occasion leading to conduct which brings with it to ruin. It denotes the enticement or occasion leading to conduct which brings with it ruin. It denotes the enticement or occasion leading to conduct which brings with it ruin. So in other words, offense is simply a seed. What he wants to get us to is bitterness. Bitterness, as soon as something happens, a person's not bitter. You have to grow the bitterness, because according to Hebrews 12, bitterness has a root system. It says the root of bitterness. So now, that if bitterness has a root system, it has to start with something. You don't start with the seed of bitterness. You start with the seed of offense. Offense left unchecked grows into bitterness. Bitterness, then once it's manifest, at the end of the day, it stops the grace that's on your life. It stops the grace that's on your life. So, Diana, if you can say, why did you choose forgiveness as the...
Because once you forgive, you're able to maybe not necessarily get over the offense right away, but you can start the healing process because you're forgiving the person even if they don't apologize. You just saying, okay, I choose to forgive you.
I choose forgive. So your answer is absolutely correct. The only antidote to bitterness is forgiveness. The only antidote, not apologies. I'm glad you guys recognize that, because that's where most people stop at. Well, I cannot let it go unless they apologize. That's, to Terrell's point, it's external. You can't control the actions of another human, right? So now that forgiveness is, I can control that. I can control how fast I forgive. I can control when I forgive. Here's another piece. Let's look at bitterness real quick. Just hear this. Bitterness is a deep-seated resentment, anger, and unforgiveness of stemming from perceived injustice or mistreatment. It's deep-seated resentment, anger, and unforgiveness of stemming from perceived injustice or mistreatment. So it comes the fact that you think something wasn't right. Okay? Also add this. It is also known to be, this is the Greek definition, also known to be venomous and poisonous. Bitterness is venomous and poisonous. Hello, madam. So if I choose to be bitter, here's what I'm doing. I'm drinking poison expecting you to get hurt. I'm drinking poison expecting you to be hurt. And so now it's going to be even worse because I'm waiting on you to be affected by something that's actually going on in me. Right? So when we look at this, y'all found that again. Okay, there you go. Y'all can take a picture real quick. It's on the screen. So forgiveness is the only thing. Now, here's the thing. We talk about forgiveness, guys. I don't want to say this, but I'm getting more and more information on it. I got to live through it, and he's concerned this. So we talk about having grace. I don't want to say I got the grace of forgiveness, because all of us should be doing it. But what I recognize is he just keep pouring into me about this concept of forgiveness. And I want to stretch you with this. Forgiveness, as it would declare that it's up to us to do it. Now, here's the thing I want to encourage you. You start doing this, you're going to find out you're going to live a whole lot more peaceable regardless of what takes place. The moment that you are bothered by something, that is the moment you recognize something don't sit well with you, that somebody else did, it's at that moment that you need to choose to forgive. You got to verbalize and say, I choose to forgive this person. Watch this. You cannot wait for your emotions to catch up. Your emotions you might still be angry, but I choose to forgive. You got to do it super fast. Now, here's the other piece. Forgiveness is not predicated on if the person is wrong. It's not predicated on if the person is wrong. It is predicated at the moment you feel uncomfortable. Am I making sense to you? So watch this. Because if you try to gauge whether or not they're right and wrong, then you delay walking in forgiveness because you're trying to make sense of what's taking place. That's not the case, even to this extent. When I'm talking to a person, telling them, well, forgive God. God is never wrong. So what am I asking them to do? I'm asking them to deal with what you got going on. Because I could perceive something that God is doing. I'm the one who off. But because I didn't get my way with what God did, I get offended. Because offense can be as simple as you not getting your way. You follow me? So offense can be as something as I have a perception about something. I got a certain thing, a way I think God should deal with it. He doesn't do it my way. I'm offended. So why should I verbalize, Lord, I forgive you? Not because he's wrong. It's because I got something in me and I want to keep it from taking root. Am I making sense? This is why you cannot try to analyze if the person right or wrong. The moment you feel uncomfortable, you know when it's there. That is when you have to verbalize, I choose to forgive this person. That's how you whoop this thing. You gotta apply forgiveness at the moment you feel offended. Now here's the thing. You know when you feel offended. Even if you done master not showing it. Right? I learned how to keep my face and my posture, my body language. We went over this, and he said, she said, they said, all this communication stuff. Some of us know how to perfect staying calm in the front of somebody. But you know when it hits you. At the moment it hits you, guys, that's when you got to say, hey, I choose to forgive. If you don't, that thing going to take root in you. It's going to lead to bitterness. So it starts with an offense. But if you deal with it up front, then you won't have to worry about that. So let's go back to the text in 2 Samuel 14. So Absalom runs to his grandfather, who is a king. Absalom's grandfather is a king. And according to verse 38, it says he fled and he stayed in Geshur, and he was there 3 years. Now, when we first start reading the text in chapter 13, Amnon, I was doing a little math. Amnon is 22 years old. No, Amnon is 22, I'm right, but Absalom was 20. By the time we get over here to verse 39, Absalom is 25. So it's 2 years that went by since Tamar had been raped. Then he stayed in Geshur another 3 years. So now he's 25. Now here's the thing. So 5 years, that offense of his sister being raped is stirring in him. We doing the math? Yep. So verse 39 says this though. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom. Watch this. For he was comforted concerning Amnon, saying he was dead. Now, according to verse 39, did David care about Absalom? He did. It said he longed for him. Right? He longed for him even though, watch this, he hadn't spoken to him in 3 years. He longed for him even though he didn't speak to him in 3 years. But during the time that they did not speak, guess who is speaking? Satan, the accuser of the brother, the devil. He's saying something to him. Here's what I need you to see. Now we jump into chapter 14, it says, Jonadab perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. So guess what Jonadab do? He goes and talk to the king and say, hey, how you feel toward Absalom? You want to mend this relationship and those kind of things. And I'm jumping down. I'm still in chapter 14, but I'm jumping down to verse 23. So Jonadab rose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. So he goes and get him. 3 years done went by. And the king said, watch this, verse 24, let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned unto his own house and saw not the king's face. You see that? So he still don't see him. Let's jump down to, I include verse 27. I said this last week, but just so you know, this ties to the relationship that they had. And unto Absalom there were born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. So he has 1 daughter out of 4 kids, and he names his only daughter after his sister. It showed, going back in the nature of their relationship, he named her niece after her, for she was a woman of fair countenance. So Absalom, watch this, dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem and saw not the king's face. So now, according to our math, therefore Absalom sent for Joab. Watch this. He's 27 years old. And how long has it been since they've talked? Probably about 7. Because it said that they're not talking between 7 and 5. So let's just say around that time. But because here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing I want you to see. In those 2 years that he plotted to have Amnon killed, Absalom's name, I ain't going to say this. Y'all should have. What's the meaning of Absalom's name? Father of peace. So he should have been reconciling the relationship. You know what he could have did instead of plotting to kill Amnon? He could have brought them together and say, Dad. And he didn't. The Bible declares that he did not talk to Amnon either, right? So my point is this: when the Bible tells us we have an ought with a person to go to them, it's a reason he's telling us that. Here's the other piece that I'm finding out. I thought if you have a conversation with a person that you have an ought with, it's going to fix everything. And you guys probably have done this. You find out that it doesn't. And here's why. People do not have honest conversations. They don't divulge how they really feel. They say typically, going back with rejection, normally would say to you what they think you can handle, not the truth. You see what I'm saying? So what should have taken place is Absalom, whose name means father of peace, he should have been trying to reconcile the situation. He could have brought Tamar, because she was in the house with him. They was already talking about Amnon. He should have got Tamar, David, and Amnon all together and said, hey, guys, I know Tamar's in the house with me. I see her every day. Here's what's going on. Amnon, I know what you did to her. I asked her, she came home, this, and this, and here's how you have been affecting her life. This is the grace that he should have been doing. Dad, help me to understand why you haven't did anything to Amnon. He could have probably found out. David could have said, well, I don't want to kill him. He my heir. He my firstborn son. If something happened to me, he's king right now. I don't have the stomach to kill him. They could have talked through whatever it is. Tamar could have looked at Amnon. Brother, why did you do this to me? Don't you know you ruined my life? Everything about me was predicated on me remaining a virgin so that I could be used in negotiation with Dad. I've been raised for the last 15 years to be a woman of purity. I've helped myself. I dress like a princess and all of that. Since that time, I felt like this. This is all that could have been done in those 2 years. If he would have walked out the meaning of his name, the grace on his life, he should have been having a conversation with parties involved, coming up with a solution to be healed. But instead, he does not talk to David about it. He does not talk to Amnon about it. He only talks to Tamar about it. And here's the thing that I talked about last week. The awesome thing about offense, it travels. So just like we were doing with COVID and colds, you can take on somebody else's offense and find yourself mad at somebody that initially didn't do anything to you. Now, here's the other piece. So if he, in that, going back to offense, can be something as simple as you, somebody not fulfilling the expectation. What if he think that David should have killed Amnon? Because that is what the law was. Somebody rapes the daughter of a king, he got to die. So he could have, hey, Dad, you ain't did nothing. And this is, I believe that's a lot, because as you move forward, how Absalom starts talking about David, to me, it points to the fact of how he saw him. Okay? So let's say, for instance, they haven't talked for 5 to 7 years. Okay? So now, the king, here's the thing, the king allows him to come back to Jerusalem, and he doesn't, here's the crazy part. He doesn't kill Absalom, because the fact that Absalom had Amnon killed, Absalom was worthy of death too. Y'all following me? And that's what bitterness does. Bitterness does not see the good stuff that a person is doing for you, because, watch this, one of the things that you'll see in the Unshakable book, that in chapter 2, when he's talking about Absalom, John Eckhart brings up this thing called memory recall. Go ahead and write that down, memory recall. Memory recall is when the enemy replays the offense and what somebody did. Memory recall is the enemy keep bringing up to you what somebody did. And then notice this, guys. Here's the thing that I need you to check. I got a person that I'm walking through this concept of being delivered from bitterness, and their testimony was, they was like, man, Pastor, I thought I had the memory of an elephant. I said, what you mean? They said, I recognize that the more I get delivered from bitterness, I can't remember stuff like I used to. Here's what he was acknowledging. He's acknowledging that the demonic spirit connected to bitterness also connected to rejection. All of these are demon groupings. What he thought was a great memory, it was just simply a memory recall. The enemy kept bringing up the thing that had him offended. Why? Because here's the thing with bitterness. Bitterness cannot survive unless it's fed. So the memory recall is there for you to keep feeding or justifying the bitterness. It's not that you got a great memory. It's the fact that the enemy has to keep allowing you to go to a place to justify your feelings. Making sense so far? So what happens is you keep replaying something that bothered you over and over again. Here's the downside. During the memory recall, the enemy can lie to you, because not only is he going to talk about the actions of the person, he's also going to include what he perceives to be the intent. So now if you're listening to a liar, he's going to now bring up what they did and then tell you, you know, this is what they was trying to do. They was out to hurt you. They did this intentionally. And as more and more I address this, I remember my conversation, I would say out loud, I said out loud to you guys, I said to my wife, like, I said, do y'all intentionally do stuff to try to get under my skin? Right? But that's what rejection would do. Rejection says, no, it's not that they did something out of immaturity. They did it because they was intentionally trying to hurt you. You see the difference in that? They woke up saying, I'm going to do this to hurt you. And there's a strong possibility, guys. Listen to me. There's a strong possibility that whoever brought hurt to you did not wake up that morning with that intention. I'm not saying what they did didn't hurt you. I'm saying the difference of the enemy telling you, it's the difference if something happened between me and Tammy and the enemy says he intentionally tried to hurt her, compared to, oh, it's just a mishap. It's two separate things. Which one can build bitterness faster? The intent, you see what I'm saying? Not just, hey, could you excuse the fact that he didn't know that bothered you. He was just talking, or he wasn't that serious, or whatever it is. The enemy's he's not worried about you understanding the truth. He just needs the bitterness to build. So guess what? You're dealing with a prosecutor, an accuser of the brother who is a liar. Y'all got to get this. And so many times when people think that their discernment is kicking in, you just listening to a lie. Not your discernment. Here's the truth of the matter. Here's how you can gauge whether or not you was right in discerning. Talk to that person. Ask them straight out. Tell me, when you did this, what was you thinking? Oh, I was thinking about the fact that I had just talked to Jasmine, and when you said this, it triggered my conversation with Jasmine, so that's why I started laughing. So you weren't laughing at what I was saying? No, I was laughing at the conversation I had just had with Jasmine on my way up the steps. And then by the time I saw you in the foyer, you said this, so I chuckled because me and Jasmine just had that conversation. You think the enemy telling me that? No, he going to take me on a whole nother course. See, she wouldn't listen to you. She was saying you was stupid. That's why she started laughing. And notice this, everything he says is to enrage you more. Nothing he says bring you peace. It make you madder. That's how you got to win this. You see what I'm saying? And so now, guess what? I take on the offense because she started giggling while I was talking. And so now I walk away with it, but I didn't say anything. Now the enemy says, how she let her come and say, hey, I'm finna pray. I'm not going to even listen to her prayer. You see what I'm saying? This done happened in September 10th. Now we doing Hear My Cry October 31st. She over prayer. And she says, hey, you want to sign up for prayer? No, I don't want to sign up. Who over it? I am. No, I don't want to sign up for prayer. They let you pray? What kind of church is this? How they let the lady who be offending everybody do the prayer? So now I miss out on the opportunity to include myself in what God is doing in the earth realm because I'm offended with her off a giggle that I don't even know where it came from, but the enemy is telling me it's coming from a malicious place. And whether I did it that day or another day, it is my responsibility to go and say, hey, Tammy, when I was talking to you, you started laughing. Why did you laugh? You know what I might find out? I may find out, number one, what I thought was discernment was a lie. Number two, her laugh triggered something that happened in my past that I'm already hurt by. But now here's the thing that you got to understand. When there are unresolved hurt, the person, here's the thing, listen to me, the person typically who just hurt you or is the closest to you that just hurt you, that is the one who's going to get your rap. The person who hurts you and that's closest to you proximity-wise. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. Because those of you who have intentions on getting married, here's the thing you got to understand. Y'all heard me say it. You're never going to be able to marry a perfect person. Guess what's going to happen? As God is delivering them, guess who's going to feel it? You. So if my dad did something to me, or let's say my mom did something to me, and I haven't got that resolved, my wife is going to feel it the most. She got unresolved issues with her dad, I am going to feel it the most. Saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Spirit, still got stuff we got to work through. Watch this, that I didn't even initiate. That's why, going back again, honesty. Hey, you said this made me feel this way. Now, let me help you. I need to address this. Nobody in this room got this problem. It's people who going to watch this later. Here's the thing. Y'all got to get this too. What is, listen to me and you right now, what is primary in your life may not be primary in my life. Which means, just because it means the world to you, you got to give me the grace that it don't mean the world to me. I'm just exposing how the enemy uses offense. Because here's how the enemy tricks you. Now, the enemy uses the fact that people do not care simply because what's primary for you is not primary for me. You have to give me the grace that my life is not yours. It may be your whole world, the thing that you want to talk to me about today, but it's not my whole world. And so since I didn't sit down and give you my undivided attention, then put my phone down or cut it off completely and look you straight in your eyes while we talking, you don't care. I'm trying to tell you how I feel. And you're like, I got unfulfilled expectations that we haven't even discussed. You see what I'm saying? So I remember having a conversation with a person, my phone goes off. I do this, they offended that I addressed the fact that my phone going off. I don't have the right to check my phone going off. But I knew at that moment, they so far gone, there's nothing I can do about this. This conversation is not going to be fruitful. You offended the fact that you hear my phone going off. I can't grab it. I can't glance at it. See? I said, see. Wow. 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 Their heart was already far gone. So look at what we get. So now, David, watch this. David is not talking to Absalom. We know for a fact it's at least 5 years. Look what happens though. This thing's stirring up. Therefore, Absalom sent for Joab. Joab was like David's right-hand man when it came to war. He was like a general in his army. Watch this. To have sent him to the king, but he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would not come. What's happening in verse 29? Start with an R. Rejection. Now, he feel rejected by David. Joab was his middleman. Remember, we had just read that. Joab is the one who got him back to Jerusalem. He sent for Joab the first time, he didn't come. The second time, he didn't come. Absalom is feeling what? Rejected. Look what Absalom do. Therefore, he said to his servants, see Joab's field is near mine, and he had barley there. Look at this. Go and set it on fire. Absalom's servant set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom to his house and said unto him, wherefore have thy servant set my field on fire? Look at this. And Absalom answered, behold, I sent unto thee, saying, come hither, that I may send thee to the king to say, wherefore am I come from Geshur? Watch this. He does not say anything about burning this man's field. He straight ignored. He messed with the man's income, being able to feed his family. Guys, this is what I'm trying to help you to understand. When business is the motivation, it gives you tunnel vision, and the only thing you're consumed with is how you feel. What the damage you're doing around you, you literally cannot see. That's the scary part. He is full-fledged into bitterness now. Why? He called for Joab. Joab didn't come. And he thought it made sense to set this man's stuff on fire. Then when he came, he said, man, why you set my field on fire? Man, I've been calling you. You see this? Why y'all, what you sniggering about? What y'all thought about? People do this now. What y'all thinking about? Talk to me. Y'all laughing, huh? What you see? And people think it's okay.
So,
guys, I need y'all to come Friday. We talk about emotional intelligence. He is not exemplifying emotional intelligence.
I just think about like when you may have offended somebody who maybe you're friends with or something. Now in the day of social media, the first thing they're gonna do is block you.
Come on, man.
And you won't even know. You like, why? What I do to?
What coming after the block?
They gonna talk about
they
you.
They talk about
they
you.
Gonna air you out
block you and talk
media.
about you.
Yeah.
Make that make sense, man.
And then people are gonna start screenshotting you like, hey, Deanna said this, Pastor Shelley about you. And you like, I didn't see it. Yeah. Oh, she must blocked you. And now, but yeah.
Hey, this is the crazy part. Guys, here's what I'm trying to show. That's the first thing I thought about, right? Because here's the crazy part. How is it that the same action is taking place in 2 Samuel that we see people doing now? The same spirit is in operation. Hey, guys, Joab is dead. Absalom dead. Even David is dead. That field that they talked about, we don't know where it is. Guess what happened? Same motivation. Same actions, though. You see, huh? And for less? What you mean?
He burned down his field, but you call somebody or text them and they see that you read it. Oh, you read it, but you didn't call me back or you didn't respond.
Right.
But they in an uproar, they mad with you, they done with you. So yeah, same spirit, but I'm just saying for lesser reasons.
There you go. For lesser, come on. Now here's rejection. You didn't respond back to me in this amount of time.
In this amount of time.
Even though we're going to disregard. It's 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Chances are I'm working.
Yeah.
Now, I could have looked at my phone. Why I can't respond later? You saw it. I was expecting. I'm telling you, start listening to people talk. I was expecting you to do this. Hey, did I tell you? Every time you text me, when did we discuss? I got 60 seconds to respond. And if I don't respond in 60 seconds, watch this. Here's the thing I want y'all to see. The reason we're laughing because everybody can identify. My point is this. When you're not talking to them, guess who's talking? Who? What about him? The accuser of the brethren. Watch this. This is why I'm telling y'all, you can't control the enemy talking about you to somebody. He can, again, I didn't respond to a text. Why all of a sudden now, you go all the way over here. And here's the thing you got to understand. They're going to disregard everything that you've already done. Look at this. The only reason he's back in Jerusalem is because of Joab. You mean to tell me this man don't have grace to be doing something and not respond to you? But that is what, here's the thing. I'm helping y'all to see this because as you entertain relationships, if somebody come to you and they are telling you how somebody else have done them so bad, here's the thing. I'm finna prophetically speak to you. You're going to be on that list one day. I'm telling you, if somebody come to you and tell you how much somebody done hurt them, you will be on that list one day. Because all you have to do is not do what they expect you to do, even if they never communicated it. Because here's the thing, that when bitterness is consuming a person's heart, any offense can now take on bitterness. That's why you listen to key words. You always do this to me. Y'all never, what that person saying, I cannot even see what you've done for me in the past. I'm just focused on right now. Here's the scary part too, guys. Listen to what I'm telling you. This is why you cannot be motivated by your feelings. I'm tying this in what we may get into on Friday. Because typically what takes place when a person is at this stage, they are not logical. They are so emotional, everything is centered around how they feel. And they feel a certain kind of way. And we established this from the beginning so that now I want you to start helping other people understand this. Everything is predicated on how they feel, but not understanding your deliverance is not in somebody else. It's in what you choose to do. You apply forgiveness, you're going to be free. But if you think it's centered around, they need to apologize. They need to acknowledge when they did me wrong. They need to do this. No. You can't wait on that. All of that is good, but I cannot wait for you to do that in order for me to decide I'm going to forgive. Forgiveness is the only way to really deal with it. You can apologize and have tears running down your face. If I don't apply forgiveness in your apology, I'm going to walk away bitter. I don't care how much you cried. I don't care if you got on one knee, 2 knees, 3 knees, 4, 5 knees. It don't even matter how many knees you get on. If I still do not extend forgiveness, I'm going to walk away mad. And you finna say something? Yeah.
Similar situation maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Someone asked my opinion about a situation.
Ask you your opinion.
Right, and I kept saying, hey, you don't want to know my opinion because it's not going to be a fruitful conversation.
Come on now.
The person was like, no, I want to know. I said, okay.
Wow,
so I told them my opinion.
Wow.
The person cussed me out.
Ain't that something?
Cussed me. I was like,
get out of here.
I said, I told you that you didn't want to know what I thought.
Hold on, let me help you understand this, because I don't think I understand the story.
You do. Go ahead.
Somebody reached out to you, asked you your opinion about, they involved you into the situation.
Told me I overstepped boundaries, but they put me in them. Go ahead.
You just living your life.
Minding my business.
They reach out to you and ask you your opinion about the situation. You gave a disclaimer before you said something.
Yes.
That you might not want to hear what I got. But they were adamant on, no, I want to hear.
Called me back twice to get my opinion. So
then once you gave it, you became the bad guy.
Yes.
That makes, my God.
So, and I was trying to figure, I'm like, well, maybe my delivery was wrong, right? Because I try to be I'm like, maybe I might have said it rough.
Yeah.
So I text to say, hey, I wasn't trying to offend you or make you feel no kind of way.
Yeah.
I told you didn't want to know what I thought, but I gave you my opinion. I'm sorry.
Right.
They was like, that's bigger than that. Like, they just kind of still wanted to, like, argue with me via text.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I said, okay, you want to argue, apparently, because I'm apologizing. You still going off. You just want to argue. It's fine. We could just leave that where it's at.
Hold on, let me make sure I understand. You apologized
Yes.
even though you went wrong. Just to made it, and it didn't work.
No.
Get out of here.
No, they wanted to argue.
They wanted blood.
And then the things that they were bringing up, it was like some old stuff. I'm like,
whoa, they brought up old stuff?
Old stuff.
Oh,
Stuff
my
that
God.
happened 3-4 years prior. I'm like, you still on that? So then, the woman of God in me sent her some words of God, right? Because I'm not about to argue.
You sent the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
You sent some scripture.
Yeah.
How did that go?
She told me, I think I'm God.
You think you God. Ain't that something? You gave her the word.
Then I said, well, I pray that God heals your unforgiveness. And that was it. And
they didn't respond back.
She was still going off. She was like, you just think you better than
Hold on,
everybody.
you sent the word.
Yes.
You said you'll pray.
Yes.
And that still didn't do. And you apologize
Yes.
about something she brought you into.
And I kept saying, remember, I told you I didn't want to give you my opinion.
Right.
And I
She
kept
forgot
saying,
that.
my opinion don't matter.
It shouldn't matter, right?
Do
Ain't
what
that
you
something?
gonna do. I value your opinion. Like, this is the person, like, asking me. So I'm like, no, I ain't.
So, somebody help her. Help. I need help with this too. What she should have did different?
Not saying.
Yeah, Diane, what she should have did different? You say you want to never, you got to talk in the mic.
I would have never apologized. You asked me for my opinion. So when you asked me for my opinion, you asked for the truth. Why am I apologizing for something that you asked me for? And then after that, after apologizing, you still stayed on the phone with her. Why explain anything to somebody that doesn't want to hear what you have to say? So after I said what I had to say, conversate. You upset? You mad?
You gonna hang up on her?
God bless you. I'm gonna talk to you later. Yes, I do it all the time. You want to start arguing? You want to fuss? You want to shout? I can't deal even with text. Stop texting.
Did she hit you with exclamation point, capital letter? She cussed you.
She texted me like 12 times, all capital letters, right?
There you go.
And I kept
screaming
saying,
at you.
I said, why are you texting me in all caps? I don't want to argue with you.
Yeah.
And she said something. I said, well, Lord, at this point.
So Sonya said she shouldn't never apologize. Anybody else have any words of wisdom on something she could have did different? You ain't had none? Say she would have handled it like that. Huh. Here's the part that we can't handle it. Denise ain't gonna fail that test. She always. I'm kidding.
As one of a young person, I understand this really well because this happened with me all the time.
Really?
And when they ask me for my opinion, they be like, "Oh, you supposed to be agree?" No.
He wants you to agree with them.
No, yeah, they want me to agree with you. My mom has taught me, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're right, you're right. And I'm not going to agree with something that's wrong.
Good job.
And my mom, one time I did when my mom was like, I was like, Mom, am I wrong for this? She was like, yeah. I was like, but you supposed to agree with me. She was like, no. I was like, okay.
It's not love. There you go. Good job.
And also with the text message, if someone asks me for their opinion, I'm going to be like, well, I would give you my opinion, but I don't know how you're going to act. So maybe ask someone else. Maybe ask someone else.
Here's something that you guys may want to do. Include. Stop giving disclaimers. Just establish the fact that when somebody comes to you, you're going to tell them the truth. And then what end up happening is they got to make that determination before they even reach out, right? And you'll set that up as a culture. Other people will start testifying on your behalf and saying, are you sure? And I'm telling you this with my family now. I told you, I got some folks, they not saved, they not church, they just hood. But the crazy part is they not as sensitive as this other group. But they'll talk among, they'll say, hey, can you call cousin pastor? And they say, you sure you want to hear him? This is a conversation they go back and forth. They say, you know how he is. You see my point? So if you always giving disclaimers on, you sure, or I'm going to be honest, just go ahead and establish, I'm going to be honest and straightforward. So now other people speak on your behalf. By the time you ring my phone, you should have already counted up the cost. That it's a strong possibility. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. You understand my point? So here's the reason, and thank you for sharing that. What I want to show you is a lot of people get confused when some people apologize just to smooth things over. Here's the problem with that when a person is already bitter. They don't hear that. What they're hearing is you acknowledging that you were wrong. They don't hear you trying to make peace. You're saying you apologize because you're wrong, right? And so I need you to understand the difference when you're dealing with a spirit, because you got to recognize that when you're dealing with this thing that's in a person's heart that's deep-rooted, only forgiveness is going up. Now, they may listen. You see what I'm saying? So notice she brought up something 3 years ago that y'all haven't even talked about. You thought y'all would pass it. There you go. She said, y'all good, y'all fine, y'all kept going. Then you get to see it ain't. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying she was lying. Here's what we find out just in relationships. There are times I can think I'm fine about something, then something else come up and I recognize I'm not. Yeah. Guess what need to happen? Another conversation. Let's get in the habit of that, right? So, yeah, Carolyn and I talked. We had a powwow, kumbaya, we did all that. 5 years from now, something happened, and I bring up this. She said, hey, whoa. Why you bringing up? I thought we both said we were good. You know what? I thought we were too until this happened. It's not that I lied 5 years ago, but I found out there's some residue through what we're experiencing right now. Guess what we need to do? Revisit it, talk about it, be honest, confront it, push the enemy out. Making sense? I don't know. If you haven't been here in like 4 weeks, you're not allowed to use the microphone. I'm messing with you. Go ahead. We got red.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback off what Deanna said. When it comes to situations where someone is asking your opinion about something or they're telling you something, they kind of want feedback.
Yeah.
My best friend over there, she can tell you straight up. We've been friends for a long time, about going on 10 years now. And there's some things that we don't agree on. And sometimes I'll kind of try to soften it a little bit. I'll be like, although I understand this may be how you feel and like, I don't agree. And I will give her the real.
Sure.
Because I just feel like she needs to hear it sometimes, not just her, like just anyone that I talk to. And a lot of people don't take it well. But like you said, sometimes that don't have nothing to do with you or your delivery or whatever. That's just them. And I actually had a very similar situation recently, which is so crazy that we're talking about this. But I have a really good friend who I think I may have offended her recently. We were in a situation, long story short, where she kind of put us in a dangerous situation where we could have got hurt. And at the moment, I kind of I'll admit, I kind of was a little aggressive in like how I was speaking towards her. Like, why would you do that? Like, she kind of got in the middle of two people who she didn't know who were fighting and was trying to, and she kind of was a little lit at the time, so it was a little bit more, everything was more heightened, but someone had a gun, and that could have been the end of our life, right? And she, at the moment, I was kind of just, saying, like, why would you do that? You could have got hurt, yada, yada, yada. And now this was like 2 weeks ago, and we still have not talked. And I even apologized to her the night of. I said, listen, I'm sorry for my delivery, because she was like, why are you criticizing me right now? Like, this is not helping nothing, yada, yada. And although, that was probably annoying how I said it, I still feel like my actions was justified. Like, you put us in a dangerous situation, and I've never been in that situation with her before. We've been friends for going on 2 years now, and we've gotten really close. But I guess my question would be, I guess it's like our first real fight, Yeah. And I guess my question would be, like, at what point do you have to kind of ask God to, like, is it bitterness on her part or whatever, or is it like, okay, do I need to ask God to reveal things in my life about anything that I've done, or like maybe how I come off? You know what I'm saying?
Now, just so you know, we in a situation, I could lose my life. I'm not finna, hey, you know what? You can't be doing that now, because the next time, hey, what's the context? We talking about, I'm with you. You interjecting something that had nothing to do with us. Somebody had a gun. So if you are it bothers you more that my delivery wasn't sweet, and we're in a life and death situation, that I'm not apologizing for that. You need to understand, okay, y'all got to help me, because this seems like a woman thing. Not trying to pick up women. No, from this standpoint, two men yelling at each other in a hostile situation, I don't hear men coming back saying, why you yell at me? You understand what I mean? Because of what's happening, right? because of what happened dictates the tone, the aggression. Do I talk to you like this all the time? No. Why did I say this like this? And this is what I mean by a woman thing, that most of the time but this is what you did, as if but how did we get here? I'm responding to, you took your tail over there in them people's business. Had not you did that, we wouldn't have never had this conversation. Had not nobody had a gun, I wouldn't have been telling you the seriousness of what, look, this cannot happen. If you're going to be with me, you need to understand this cannot ever happen again, right? So that's what I mean by women, that's a woman thing, because men don't go back after the fact. If somebody about to die, guns out, and the joker say, hey man, I'm telling you now, I'm gonna be over there doing this, this, and this. And then they take offense to it. I remember we in a situation like they end up fighting in the club because my friend trying to save a girl, had nothing to do with us. She arguing with a dude. All of a sudden, him and the dude arguing. We about to help him out. Come to find out, he interjecting in somebody else's stuff. Do you think we said, hey, Andrew, you can't be in other people's business? Guess what? We didn't talk like that. We went off. Hey, man, you mean tell me we doing? Why? Because we're showing you, you stepped overboard by doing this. And moving forward, that's the last time that ever happened. No, it didn't. He did do that again. But the second time he did, we all went off. Second time he did, so we didn't know it back then, just a small piece. Andrew was compassion motivated. We didn't know what compassion motivated was. We end up in a big brawl, in a fight. Me and him actually got kicked out the club, and we could have lost our lives, right? So we get into it. Later on, a year later, we at school, he's entertaining a girl who is loose, okay? He makes her his girlfriend. So he comes and tell us, hey man, they doing this and this. So we're running through the school finna help him fight a situation. And while we running, we saying, give us the fact, what done happened? He says, yeah, because he called my girl a H. Right? Guess what we did? Everybody stopped running. Everybody, it's like 7, 8, 9 of us. Everybody, she is. These men though, right? We call it for, she is. We told you, you don't date her. You know what I'm saying? This is what she do. You didn't have to date her, right? We're explaining this. My point being, he never came back with, oh, why was y'all tone like this? Or the stuff that you dealing with, like men don't talk like that. That's why I was saying, is that just a woman thing? Because we recognize the seriousness of the situation, then we'll escalate our voice. I normally don't talk to you like this. So it's not looked at as disrespectful. It's looked at as, okay, it's the nature of what's taking place that's requiring this person to get more excited than they normally would. So I as a male, I don't see the need to apologize because I could have got killed.
I think that's a her thing. I don't think that's a woman thing. I think that's a her thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I would also say, because I have seen men do that.
Okay. What, escalate toward each other?
Yeah. Well, first of all, from your standpoint, when you say, men understand, they do tend to be more logical. So they take the emotional piece and the energy of emotions going back and forth. They're able to deflect it. But I think people do that, like in Diana's case, when they want to deflect from taking ownership and accountability. So I've seen this consistently, especially with people who have kind of like a narcissistic kind of personality. Then they want to gaslight you. Oh, well, you yelled at me and you didn't say it to me a certain kind of way.
Right.
No, you take accountability and ownership for your actions. It ain't got nothing to do with me addressing it to you in a certain tone. So that's what I have seen a lot. And I've seen that in both men and women.
Interesting. Somebody grab the mic. Huh?
I didn't. I was just going to say, I think for...
So the camera on, just scoot a little bit, you can grab that one. You're a little young and all. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Okay, go.
I think for me, male or female, if I'm trying to preserve the relationship and I realize, like, because you can always do something different, right? Like, my reaction could be different, your reaction could be different. So I think in conversation and in reconciliation, you aren't trying to, I don't know that I'm ever out to hurt somebody, offend somebody, or whatever. So if I realize that something I did, it happened that way, regardless if I tried to or if the situation called for it, because I want reconciliation in the relationship, I'm gonna just say, like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Just accountability for being human, you know what I'm saying? Like, just so you know that I know, that could have been different, you know, that kind of situation. But I do think, like, what you were saying is that it's, even if, because I know I've been in the situation, it's like you were talking about, there's so much grace that has to be extended consistently in order for there to actually be reconciliation. Because the truth is like you said, it's like a day by day, situation by situation scenario. And so I think humility just says, like, it really doesn't matter. Like, we all are having to work on ourselves. So if you got to work on your part, I got to work on my part. And I think what I've actually realized is sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong so much that I end up getting, like, offended from the offense. Like, it just ends up jumping back on me. So the idea of trying to be unbothered or, like, not worried or that's just a you issue, or that's just, at least for me, maybe it just, no, I can't do it, because the truth is I actually want to be reconciled with you. So that kind of dismissive way of kind of dealing with it, even if it is your issue, I want to see you overcome that if I'm actually pursuing a relationship with you.
Go ahead. Might tie in. Should turn green.
Okay. Actually, y'all all kind of said a little bit of what I wanted to say as well. But kind of to your question, I think it's like about your posture and checking your heart posture. And when you're in a situation, because I as well have been in situations where, you know, you get into altercation with somebody and you may have both kind of played it wrong in some way, but the opposite person reacts in a way that may have escalated the situation. And you're easy to want to go back and apologize, because I think, like we said, we want to reconcile the situation, but understanding people are hurt, and when people are hurting, like we spoke about bitterness, it's up to them to process that. And so when you know your heart posture and know, okay, because I self-reflect, it's like, okay, what did I do in this? And maybe it was an aspect of this that I could have communicated a little bit better. I could have delivered this a little bit more differently. But I know where I was coming from with this. And sometimes it does mean, like, maybe having that follow-up to re-explain yourself, to give that clarification of what it is. But then at that point, you can't over-justify yourself. You can't over-explain yourself. It's no longer on your end. Like, you can do the self-reflection of the part that you take and have the accountability for whatever role you may have played in it, but it's not your personal issue, especially if you know your posture. Like, you know that it didn't come from a place of harm or malintentions. Like, you had the right to be upset. You had the right to feel away. And yeah, it's fair to say, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, but like you said, it's a life or death situation. Like, you had a right to be upset. And just knowing that it's another person's hurt, and sometimes you or they don't know why they're hurt. Like, it's deeper than you, it's bigger than that situation at hand, and we just have to be, like, as long as your posture is good, like, as long as your posture, and you gotta move accordingly. You can't let the next person, like, decide your energy.
So as we're concluding and segue into Ashley, Friday, thank you for everyone that shared. So when we look at how rejection affects your grace, and one of the things that I don't believe I went over this with you guys. Write down these 3 things real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going over, and you guys may have it up there, the consequences of bitterness. Consequences of bitterness. Number 1 would be spiritual decay, and that's obviously it affects your spiritual growth and maturity. Spiritual decay, the consequences of bitterness. Number 2, relational damage. It can damage relationship with others. Spiritual decay, relational damage. Number 3, unforgiveness. Bitterness is often characterized by an unforgiving spirit. Unforgiveness. Number 4, defilement. According to Hebrews 12:15, bitterness can defile many. Bitterness can defile many. And the last one, overcoming bitterness. The Bible encourages forgiveness, compassion, and kindness as ways to overcome bitterness. Go back to spiritual decay. Yeah, go back to the screen. You can screenshot that if you need to. Spiritual decay, relational damage, unforgiveness, defilement, and then overcoming bitterness. So the first thing that we want to do is look in and make sure, as we talked about at the beginning, that the antidote to bitterness is forgiveness. You have to apply it, right? The quicker you deal with it, catch it at the offense stage, then it doesn't grow to bitterness. And then you're able to see it in the hearts of other people, yet you can't control that. All that you can control is yourself. So segueing into what we're going to talk about Friday, I want to encourage you guys to come and invite people out. We want to talk about, so we talked about different levels of listening, how to improve. The overall theme is how to improve communication. And this week we want to talk about emotional intelligence. So how do we handle situations when we are upset? Because every relationship would be tried. To me, the greatest human relationship that we see that offense was even there, to me is John the Baptist and Jesus. Jesus acknowledged him as being the greatest prophet to ever live. He's talking to the Savior of the world. And Jesus says to the disciples, go back and tell John, blessed is he who's not offended in me. So even John was offended, even though he acknowledged Jesus being the Savior of the world. So to me, if that relationship can be tested, every relationship we'll have will be tested. So as we apply these rules on how to make sure that rejection doesn't attack your grace, God will bring two people together. Just because God brings two people together doesn't mean everything's going to be great and wonderful. And we're going to see everything eye to eye and all that. We got to work through differences. We got to work through past hurts and pains and disappointment, current hurts, pains, disappointment, talking through those things, being honest. The Bible says you have an alt with a person. You got to go to them and make sure we listen on this piece. How long should I wait before I deal with my offense? Immediately. The faster you deal with it, the easier it is. Let me say that. The easier it is to deal with. Let me ask you this. If I've forgiven, does that have to be followed by a certain feeling? If I truly forgiven, does it have to be followed by a certain emotion? No. Is it possible for me to forgive you, yet I'm still angry at what you did? Yeah, you can't wait on your emotions to catch up. You have to do it. Let your emotions catch up later. And that's not wrong for me to be angry. I don't have to like what you did. It can actually bother me. The Bible says be angry, but what? Sin not. So my emotions may not be there at the moment that I choose to forgive, right? So as you apply these principles, guys, what we're going to find out that business is not going to rule your heart, and it's not going to stop the grace of God that's over your life. And at the end of the day, that's all you can control. Hopefully, through the process of interacting with people, that they're willing to also adopt these habits, and now we can be more fruitful in our relationships and the thing that we are all purposed and called to do. Amen? Yes. She said the next slide that came right after that. Don't know it. Which one? That will overcome? Overcoming business. Just post overcome. So overcome business through forgiveness, compassion, kindness as ways to overcome forgiveness. I don't think you have it on. Try yellow. Is it green?
Thank you for joining us today. We love that you've entrusted us to be a part of your spiritual growth. Be sure to check the links in the description to learn more about salvation, planting, and ways to give. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Join the conversation and stay connected using hashtag #TheHandOfTheLordChurch. We'd love for you to be a part of what God is doing here, so check out thehand.us/events for upcoming gatherings and opportunities to fellowship. We pray the word has ministered to your heart and inspired you to expand God's kingdom. Until next time, according to 3 John verse 2, Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper, be in good health, even as thy soul prospers. In Jesus' name, amen.